It is week 40 of the Geek Week in review, and as you can see, it's me and Ryan Speaks Geek, so stay tuned for an awesome episode.
The Geek Week in review.
Hello and welcome back to the Geek Week in review with me, Jacob's Toys, and of course, Ryan Speaks Geek. As you can probably tell, SuperSorrell is still absent because he is currently packing on his way back from Galaxy's Edge. Guys had an amazing time. He has got so much to tell us, and if you haven't been following his social media channels, then I'm sure you'll hear all about it next week in next week's episode. If you're watching us on YouTube, then please do like, share, subscribe, all of those things. Check the details, the description below for Ryan's details, and of course Sorrell's details as well. Give them guys a follow if you don't already do so. And if you're one of our podcast listeners, then please do continue to share, download, all those things, because we do appreciate you guys over on the podcast. So do make sure that you're keeping those episodes kind of tickling the podcast charts, shall we say. And of course, if you are on Facebook or on Instagram, then you can also give the Geek Week in review a follow over there. So this is the big 4-0. This is episode 40. And it's a shame that we haven't got Sorrell here for the 40th, but it also means that we're only 12 weeks away from that big 1 year anniversary of the Geek Week in review, which is a bit mad, really. I mean, 12 episodes is still 3 months, so it's not like it's around the corner. It's still.
I will say that. Do I get my own special birthday? Because obviously I haven't been doing it for a year. Do I get like a special? Is it like the year anniversary of the show, and then there's like the year anniversary of Ryan? Like, do we get a Ryan-versary?
We'll get a party popper or something. It's like, and this is Ryan's 1 year. Boom. But we were, me and Ryan were discussing before the show started, and there's not been a huge amount happen this week that's kind of fallen onto our radar. I mean, stuff has happened, but there's not been a huge amount happen. So it'll be interesting this week. I mean, I think the funnest bit of news was Christopher Lloyd obviously being announced as being cast in Mandalorian season 3. That definitely tickled me. I can't wait to see the doc in the Mandalorian.
Yeah, do you know what? He's such a good actor though. Like, you kind of forget, like, because did you see Nobody? The one with it was the
yes.
I feel bad for forgetting the actor's name. The one with the chap from Better Call Saul is the main guy. It's like a proper sort of hardcore action Taken-esque John Wick type film.
Yeah.
I mean, it was one of my favorite films last year, and I think it was. I couldn't fault it either. Like, but it was just the use of music, and it was incredible. But Christopher Lloyd was a standout in it.
He's an amazing actor. He really
just
is an amazing actor.
But because you also see him in something like Piranha 3D, and then you're like, do you know what I mean? It's one of those things like, you were Back to the Future, Piranha 3D, but then Nobody, and it's like, he just likes to work, doesn't he?
Yeah, of course.
I mean, he's not quite had the career that Bruce Willis seems to be having at the moment.
No, it's very true.
He's own Razzie category this year.
Did he?
Worst Bruce Willis film released in the last 2 years. He had enough bad films.
They could create a category for him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's something you should be proud of. I don't know. I kind of feel like someone's got like some dirt on Bruce Willis and is forcing him to do these films, because they're all like straight to Netflix DVD ones. And I've watched 2 of them. I watched Cosmic Sin, and the main sin was that film got made.
Wow.
And then I watched one called Anti-Life, but in America it's called Breach. It's one of those ones where it's like, you go on IMDb trying to find the film. It's like, in America it's called this. It's just you guys who get a different title. And it was shocking, just shocking.
Really?
I mean, but apparently, I don't know if this is true or not. Turning into the Hollywood Reporter now, but like, apparently Bruce Willis doesn't learn lines. He has them fed to him in an earpiece.
Really?
I don't know if that's true or not. I think there's a rumor that he had like borderline, like he was starting to suffer from dementia or something as well. But the thing is, you just never know anything you read on the internet.
He had little aliens inside his body, and he's a robot. Like, he's just.
Oh no, that would turn out to be true. Awkwardly.
Oh, did it? Actually, tying all this into one. Actually, so straight to TV, straight to Netflix kind of thing, and Christopher Lloyd. I can tie these in together, right? The Adam Project came out. The Adam Project came out.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet.
Ryan Reynolds and obviously Mark Ruffalo, Jennifer Garner. It's an amazing film. It really is a really, really cool film. And they did a promo for it, and it was Mark Ruffalo and Ryan Reynolds. And then they were talking about time travel and everything like that. And they cut over and it's Christopher Lloyd talking about time travel, and then it just kind of cuts back to the other two, and they're just like, he's a legend. What what an amazing guy. Like, so yeah, but talking about
that was a very impressive tie-in. I will give you that.
I know, right? And that was completely
a lot of people
unscripted.
Jokingly said that think that it's a sequel to 13 going on 30 as well.
Oh, really?
Because of it being Jennifer Garner and Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I can kind of see that.
If we can connect Marvel films because like someone accidentally tripped over a rock in the first one. But,
I know. But it is a really, really cool film. And I won't give too many spoilers, but it is a typical Ryan Reynolds kind of, there's loads of kind of funny bits. And I do feel bad because I forget the young guys. There's like the younger version of Ryan Reynolds' character in it. That's the young boy. And it's his first film. And he, hands down, is a standout piece of that film. His acting, his humor, his comedic timing is just absolutely brilliant. Wow. I really enjoyed it. But it was it's a really, really good film. And
this director of that is going to direct the next Deadpool, isn't it? He's calling it his Ryan Reynolds trilogy.
Yes, because he also directed Free Guy.
Yeah, and so he's directing Deadpool 3, which is going to be R-rated, isn't it?
Yes, I believe so. But yeah, no, I feel really, really bad because I forget the director's name, but I'll come into this week's episode completely unprepared. But yes, he directed Free Guy and he directed the Adam Project, and then it was announced shortly after that he's going to direct Deadpool 3, and it's going to be his Ryan Reynolds trilogy. But they work really well together, so why not?
Yeah, I've got big expectations. I mean, I'll tell you who probably won't be in Deadpool 3 is TJ Miller.
Really?
Well, he has gone off the rails a bit of late.
Oh, that's a shame. I really enjoyed his character.
Yeah, me too. So I'm really hoping over sorts of stuff. I don't know all the details, though. I won't lie. I don't know if he's actually done something horrific to people or anything. I really don't know the details. So if anyone's watching or listening to this and going, well, of course he is. He's done this to this person. And we don't know. This is just something I read in passing.
This is the first I've
when I was looking up. Well, it was something I read in passing when I was looking up Deadpool 3. There was some stuff about TJ Miller, and they said, because of his latest, what he'd done recently, there's doubts whether he'll be in it. And I thought, I got to go and look that up. But really that'd be a shame because I liked the character. But obviously, if I really enjoyed his, then obviously,
yeah, exactly. But I really enjoyed the bouncing off of each other. I thought it worked really well. But then at the same time, if they're going to do something different with it, then maybe his character's kind of absence will give us something new. I don't know where they're going to go with Deadpool 3 though. I mean, I want a Deadpool 3, and especially with now the MCU and Disney Plus just taking over everything and whatnot, I think Deadpool needs to kind of be included in that, but I don't know where they're going to go with it. I really don't.
They could just have a thing where everyone just keeps getting rebooted around them.
Yeah,
just recasting, going like, who are you? And stuff like that.
What I really think is interesting is I think if we're ever going to see Wolverine and Hugh Jackman's Wolverine and Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool together in a film, it's going to be Deadpool 3. Only reason being is, again, this director, he's quite vocal about them being friends and all the rest of it. And there was a tweet or a Instagram post that he shared of Hugh Jackman coming to support Ryan Reynolds at the Adam Project. And I just thought, hang on, this is the director that's now directing Deadpool 3, showing these two together.
I do have a theory, actually, already.
Go on.
So my theory is Hugh Jackman will be in it as Hugh Jackman. I think Deadpool will go to Hugh Jackman's house and make him dress up as Wolverine to fight with him, but he'll be there with the fake claws and everything. And
okay.
He's going to be in Australia and be like, mate, I'm really not a mutant. I can't fight this person. No, you got this, Wolverine. It's fine. It's what the fans want. It's what the fans want. And he's going to be like, no, mate, I'm just a bloke. Just
that would be quite funny. That would be quite funny. But I think that at the same token, if they got him in and they got that, I think people would be so mad. They were like, you had him, he was there, and you didn't do it. I don't know. But I think if they're going to show up, it's going to be in this one. Speaking of Netflix, obviously we did discuss the departure of Daredevil, Iron Fist, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, The Punisher, and The Defenders from Netflix, and obviously it is now on Disney Plus.
Week and a half of extreme DVD sales, and then 2 weeks after, by remorse when they announced it was going to go on to Disney Plus.
Oh, I know. It was so
quick.
It's one in ones. I'm really pleased though, because I kind of knew from what I was reading that it was going to turn up on Disney Plus and everything. And I only watched those series once when they came out. I just watched them that one time. But I watched them they're really good. But I watched them in the order that they were released. And I've got the order. I'm actually going to do a video next week at some point. I've actually got the order of when you should watch them, like the chronological order of the story, if you like, the Defenders saga, if you want to call it that. And when you should watch them, because now that they're on Disney Plus, the reason I'm going to do the video is because they're on Disney Plus, and with the same as all Disney Plus shows, you can go on there and it's Daredevil season 1, 2, 3, and it's very easy, especially for people that might not have seen them before, because of them being on Netflix. They'll go on, you'll watch Daredevil, get to the end of series 1 and get straight into series 2, whereas actually you've got a few other things in between. So there is kind of like a running order, if you like, of them. So I'm watching them that way now, whereas before I watched them. It's not that different, the release order, to be fair. But I obviously watched them in release order the first time round. So I've just
you're right. You would just naturally finish one season, probably just go straight into the next one, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I've just got to the end of Daredevil season 1, and I was like, oh, cool, I'll go straight into season 2 this time. And I was like, oh no, hang on. And then I kind of done a bit of researches into what happens where, and I was like, right, I've got a definitive kind of running order now. And I actually forgot as well in Daredevil season 1 how much reference they make to the MCU. Like with the incident and all that kind of stuff. And there's a lot of talking in season 1 about like the real MCU. There's newspaper clips.
That's when everyone was saying, yeah, it's definitely connected to the MCU. And then it just seemed that conversation just seemed to fizzle as time went on, and so did the references, my understanding.
Oh yeah, no, they did. They did kind of fizzle out. But I don't think that the nice thing is going back and watching it now, seeing those references makes it a lot more kind of canon for me, and seeing them all on the same platform as well. But I think that there was no need to reference the other stuff, because this was kind of ground level stuff, and at the time it was coming out, we didn't have that. We didn't have like the Hawkeyes and stuff. We didn't have the ground level like offering. Okay, we had Agents of Shield, but that again was kind of, is it canon, is it not canon? So we didn't need all those references to the big stuff that was going on. They do actually mention Captain America as well, which I completely forgot. Like Foggy mentions Captain America, and it's just, I don't know, it's just really interesting to kind of rewatch. If they do
bring them into the MCU properly, I really want them to bring Foggy, because I love Foggy's character. Foggy was like, him and Daredevil. Like, I could understand if other people slip through the cracks, but their dynamic and just Foggy as a character, I really would be upset if Foggy wasn't in it.
I completely agree. And as I said, going back and rewatching season 1 of Daredevil at the moment, anyway, I forgot how good it was. Like I remembered it being good, and I remember absolutely loving it. But it's one of them things that on Netflix, I don't rewatch a lot of stuff on Netflix. I kind of watch it. I don't know if it's the way the algorithm works, but the stuff that I've watched kind of disappears and new stuff gets pushed up to me. Whereas Disney Plus, it's kind of there. It's all kind of categorized together. So I'm really enjoying watching it. But one thing that I did notice, and other people have noticed, is that in the opening credits, they've kind of removed the Netflix production kind of tag where that would pop up. Yeah. And yeah, it's quite interesting.
To make it. That's quite,
Yeah, and I've
put kind of money to make those Marvel shows.
Yeah, and I've only watched a few of the episodes, the first season of Daredevil, so I've only kind of looked for it actively in a couple of episodes. So I haven't watched any other series, but I did a bit of research into this, and other people have stated that they've kind of removed that Netflix branding, if you like. So I don't know, they're kind of making it canon, but they have announced that there's going to be a new series of Daredevil. Or maybe not announced, but the rumor mill is there that there is another Charlie Fox series of Daredevil. They're kind of giving it a soft reboot. And I got my theories. I think, excuse me, I think it's going to be all to do with the Thanos snap and who disappeared at what times and stuff like that. Because obviously we've got Wilson Fisk back in, and we've got Daredevil
lose track of a lot of characters, can't you, in 5 years?
Yeah. So I think it's going to kind of tie into, and I think that we're going to see the characters from the Netflix show in this series of Daredevil. I think they're going to kind of, Daredevil was their pilot. It was their kind of flagship, wasn't it? And, you know, the Punisher was very good. Jessica Jones was very good. It's all very good. But Daredevil is kind of like the big flagship one. So I think if they do a new series of Daredevil and they bring these other characters into it and they kind of explain what's happened in the past 5 years and also why they kind of weren't around at the end game kind of battle and stuff, and why they haven't crossed paths, I think that they'll explain a lot to make them canon, if that makes sense. Because now they brought him in, haven't they? They brought him in and he's there with Spider-Man. So, and he's going to be involved in She-Hulk.
I think that's the sound bit of logic.
That's my thinking. That is my thinking. And also as well, when you think about Wilson Fisk, like he was a big player throughout the Netflix shows. And then obviously he's just disappeared. And then he's come back in Hawkeye, and he is this person that Hawkeye knows who he is. So if Hawkeye knows who he is, where has he been all this time? So what happened there? Why has he just kind of gone off the radar? I also think as well with Moon Knight, because Moon Knight is out, and I'm sure I've said this on a previous show, but Moon Knight comes out in 10 days, 10 days, 9 days. Wow. It's the 30th it comes out. Well, we had the UK kind of premiere. So a handful of people got invited down to, I think it was the London Natural History Museum, and saw the first 2 episodes at the kind of premiere. I didn't get an invite, not bitter at all, but but no, some people did though. Some people did. And some of the creators have posted about it and said how amazing it was. Oscar Isaacs, that's who it is, isn't it? Has said how he would like a version of the Midnight Suns group. And for those of you that don't know, it's kind of like without going into too much detail, but they're kind of the good bad guys. So you've got people like Punisher, like Ghost Rider, like Daredevil, like Moon Knight, they're kind of, anti-heroes, should we say. And he's kind of put out his list of who he would like to see Moon Knight team up with in their version of the Midnight Suns, and a few of them are included in the Netflix show. So I'm really excited. I'm really excited about the possibility of various different things.
That could be really cool.
Yeah, I'm excited for Moon Knight.
I didn't. I'll be honest. I lost track of time. I didn't realize it was that soon.
Yeah, it's really, really soon.
I think that's the thing. That's why we're in a sort of golden age of nerdism for viewing, because we're never far between something. Because as soon as Moon Knight's done, we got Obi-Wan. That's going to be mind-blowing. That's going to be one I'm going to have to get up really early in the mornings to watch before anyone else.
Mate, that is how I feel about every Marvel show. I'm like, I love them, but I'm kind of like, with spoilers on the internet nowadays, I've just got to get in there and see it.
Moon Knight I can watch in the evenings, because where I don't know that much about Moon Knight, I don't feel like it would be a spoil, if that makes sense.
No.
I can risk that one throughout the day. But Obi-Wan, being the ridiculous Star Wars fan now, I just cannot.
No, you can't,
because the Book of Boba Fett. And the problem is, I was getting spoiled just by my internet browser. So just opening my laptop in the morning to open my work, open it up, and it's on the homepage. It's just like, go shock, blah, blah, blah. It's like, it's been online for 40 minutes.
I think that is the sad thing, isn't it?
The episodes. It's like when people go like, oh, just don't go on social media and stuff. It's like, but it's not even just on social media anymore. It's just on news, everywhere.
I think the sad thing is because of the nature of what we got, content kind of being fed into our household. And you've also got platforms that want to stand out and they want to kind of be the leaders. So it's this kind of vicious circle of like the content's coming out at whatever time. The platforms are like, well, we need to be there out of the gate with our stuff, with our reviews, and then they're being pushed out. So there is you can avoid spoilers, you can kind of do it. But like you say, it's a very difficult way to, like turning your computer on, like, okay, am I on the home screen? I think I'm right. Yes, I'm safe. Right. But we've got
I've deleted everything.
Yeah, just phone, like FaceTime the manager, like, sorry, it's 4 o'clock in the morning. Like, but we have got 4 months of Marvel. We have literally got 4 months of Marvel. So we've got Moon Knight coming out. We've got Doctor Strange coming out. We've got Thor: Love and Thunder coming out, and we've got Miss Marvel coming out. And Miss Marvel is another one. Yeah, it was. We had the trailer.
That actually happened, didn't it? Yeah, that's major thing happened.
I just wanted to see your reaction. That's why I just dropped it.
Yeah. This is a genuine reaction video, people.
I genuinely can't wait. There's a lot of hate on the internet about it, which is a shame.
Really?
But yeah, just because they've changed the powers and stuff.
Oh, but okay, I kind of get it, but I
Yeah.
guess because in the one doesn't she have like elastic giant hands, isn't it? I mean, again, I'm not
Well,
massively familiar with the character.
yeah. The rumor is that they've changed her kind of like, I can't remember the way that they word it. They're but essentially it's not elastic, but it's like bigger, not bigotry, something completely different, but making stuff big.
Yeah.
And they've taken that away because of the similarities between Mr. Fantastic, and because Fantastic Four is coming, that's why they've taken it away.
Don't
But
want to duplicate the powers.
No, and the hate comments I've seen are very much about, oh look, we've got this, this young female Muslim street level kind of superhero, and we've taken away what makes her her, and we've given her, oh look, powers again, just like every other kind of character out there. And it's a shame because her powers are really unique to her. And one of the things I like is she is this young teenage girl with massive hands, and just she's a really cool character to read and to watch. And she obviously headlined the Avengers game, and even though that kind of went down like a lead balloon, it wasn't because she headlined it, because she was amazing fun to play as. And there was one part of the trailer where you see her hand kind of get big and she kind of punches something, but it's I hope
it looked like it was powers, like it looked like there was energy around it rather than her hand being big.
Yeah, I hope they haven't shown us the full amount of it. But I love the trailer. I love the kind of the comic book Into the Spider-Verse kind of esque look to it.
I'm really excited because again, it actually looks like something different.
Yeah.
Which that's the thing, because it's very easy with the amount of content they're pumping out is to just do the same thing every single time. And on a very base level, because some people argue with like all the same, like, this thing, it's troubled moment at the time, hero moment of self-doubt, defeats the enemy, blah, blah, blah. But I mean, you could apply that logic to anything if you take it basic enough. Every romantic film, people are separate, then they get together, and then they're happy or they're not. You can if you go down that basic. But the I think this one again just looks really different. Moon Knight looks really different. Miss Marvel looks really different. Like, they look so far removed from each other, and it's great. I love it. And WandaVision versus Hawkeye.
Yeah. It's completely different. Yeah, completely different. And then even if you look at the kind of big film offerings that are coming along as well, like Doctor Strange, as Sam Raimi directed feature, looks completely different to other things. If you remember back, cast your mind back, that original Doctor Strange wasn't received overly well. There wasn't a huge reception for it, but Doctor Strange has become this staple of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and that first film really wasn't very well received in comparison to the others that were out at the time.
No, and that really threw me off because I remember coming out of it because I saw it. It's one of the few times I was really glad I actually did see something in that 3D with the depth perception 3D.
Yeah,
I saw it in that, and it was one of the few times I always with those I only ever really went to see special effects driven films or space related films because of that depth thing. It really gives a big scope. So when I watched Doctor Strange in that, I came out and my mind was blown because the bits where they're going for like all the different, the mirror verse and the astral plane, something, it was just the most. I was like a kid, like going. It was just so because of the depth perception as well. It was just mind blowing. So I think that kind of bit made me miss the 3D. But as a film, though, again, I really enjoyed it. So when it came out and I went online, I thought everyone was going to be like, "Yeah, Doctor Strange," and it was like, Doctor Strange. Is that? Oh,
yeah,
I like
it. Was. I think the sad thing is that the things like the whitewashing of the Ancient One and the kind of, I call it the Galactus treatment of Dormammu, like what the Fantastic Four did with Galactus, like they kind of didn't make Dormammu as cool as he should have been, and I think because of those things, they kind of overshadowed the how cool that film was to look at. It was very Inception-esque, wasn't it? It was just there was just a lot to take in, and I think that's one of the reasons why it's one that people have kind of looked back on, and it's now more popular than it was when it came out. But this, this into the what is it, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, I think it's called. I can never remember exactly. But it just
so many
looks
different
like
intos and inthers, and I keep getting them mixed up. Like I said, I called it Into the Spider-Verse the other day, and I was like, no, wait, that's quite clearly Spider-Man. It's in the title part. I just get confused now. Into the something.
Excuse me. Yeah,
Doctor
but it just
Strange
looks
is
like
doing something.
it looks like an absolute roller coaster ride, and I have no idea what to expect. There's so many theories flying around the internet, and we know the Illuminati is going to be in it, and that's all I need to know as far as that spoiler goes. I've got my own theories of who it's going to be, but I'm just really excited about seeing what happens.
Have you seen? I don't know. Going from Marvel to DC now, bit of a jump, but I saw about there being a Joker sequel, and that really surprised me.
The Joker
Joaquin
film,
Phoenix one, yeah.
Yeah,
and I'll be honest, I don't know how I feel about that. One, it surprised me because Joaquin Phoenix does not like doing sequels, hence why he pulled out of the Doctor Strange role, because he didn't want to do a thing where he had to keep reprising the same role. So, he pulled out of that role because of that. And two, because Joker, I think is an incredible piece of film and comic book film, and character piece. It's just an incredible film. And I really don't feel at any point that I wanted or
needed a sequel to that.
Sequel.
No.
So I'm really sort of intrigued the logic behind that, other than it made a lot of money. But because it wasn't a sub. I don't know if I want to see that Joker fighting Batman or so. I don't know, or how they're going to do it. I don't really know.
I think it will just be a deeper dive into the mental psyche of that version of the character. I think that we're going to see.
They've made it quite clear that they have stated very publicly that it's not connected to the new Batman. Films, which is good. Plus, also we know that someone else has been cast as Joker now. Obviously, the guy from Eternals and lots of other things. Or Patient, whatever he got called in the credits. But the I think it's, I don't know. Like I said, it's such a great film on its own. I'm actually not concerned because it'll probably leave my brain the minute we stop filming. But whenever I see it, I'm like, if there was ever a film I thought didn't need a sequel, it was probably that one. It's Joker.
Then if I said to you, do you think Godfather needed a sequel?
Yeah.
And then you look at Godfather Part 2, and I'm not comparing Joker to Godfather, but I think it's a prime example of how you can sometimes take something that is incredible on its own, and if done correctly, you can do a really cool, justified extension of that story. It's obviously not going to be a hack and slash superhero, Suicide Squad kind of thing, and we know that he's not going to go up against Batman, so it isn't going to be. I haven't got any fears of where that would go. I just hope it's done right so that it becomes a Terminator 2 and not a Terminator 3.
Yeah.
See, I'm throwing all my sequels in. No, it makes it a Terminator 2 and not a Jaws 2. There you go.
Whoa. I'm going to defend Jaws 2. I actually think Jaws 2 is on par with Jaws 1, the original.
It probably is actually. A Jaws 3D then.
Yeah. Okay, now we're talking. The thing is about Jaws 2, bigger body count as well, which is always good.
Yeah, that's very true. So just coming back to Marvel, because there's an interesting fact about Thor: Love and Thunder that we have to touch on, I suppose. Do you remember the hype that we had about Spider-Man: No Way Home, and how we hadn't got a trailer and we haven't got a poster and there's no toys out or anything like that? Do you know there's actually less time between Thor: Love and Thunder's release date and today than there was between No Way Home's release date and when we got the trailer?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But that's interesting.
No one seems to be jumping on that. But the reason being is because obviously with No Way Home, there was so much speculation about who was going to be in it. And we knew that there was all these reoccurring characters. So it was obvious that there was a huge hype train,
wasn't it?
Yeah. We knew there was a massive hype train that went with it. But it's interesting that Marvel have kind of taken that approach of, you know what, we're not going to give you anything. And the only kind of piece of information that's really leaked is there was two sort of Titan figures, or 3 Titan figures that were released that for merchandise. There were the Lego sets, and there was that poster that got put out in a shop that I actually covered as well on Instagram, and it kind of went everywhere. But this poster was put out by
it's definitely not the poster, and then
I know people were proper going at me like, this is not the poster, this is just a clever Photoshop. Like, I love how intricate people get as well. And just to put it into context for anyone who doesn't know, there was a a shop here in the UK that put out one of the Thor Love and Thunder posters. And this was before we knew anything about any of the characters, any of the costume designs or anything like that. And they put out the typical kind of Marvel ensemble piece poster in their shop and posted it to their Facebook group, Facebook page. In the what would you call it? Like the poster rack?
Like the HMV thing you go in and pick.
Yeah, like the big poster. Metal racks and stuff. And you know, here it is, like here's the poster, pick it up in the store, $3.99 or whatever. And somebody I knew shared it to a group I was in, and I was like, is this genuine? They were like, yeah, it's on their page. So I went to their page, I saw it myself, I took it off of their Facebook page. I didn't name and shame the place because I was like, I'm not gonna be that guy. I didn't name and shame the place. And then I posted it to my social channels, and I was getting messages left, right, and center from some quite big sort of pages and groups and sort of saying, oh, what's the source of this? And can we cover it? And all that kind of stuff. And there were people just going deep. No, you can tell that's a Photoshop because if you look at the lower left corner, you can see the reflection is not the same as the reflection in the. And I was like, mate, it's hands down, it's not a fake. Like, oh yeah, no, it's definitely a fake because that picture of Chris Hemsworth is actually from this particular film. That's not even a Marvel film, and they've just put him on the body of a costume from the. And I was like, man, some people go hard trying to debunk a theory, and I was like, look, someone in the shop is clearly getting fired because they put out the stock way before the date it was supposed to go out. That's all it is. But apart from that leaked poster,
sending the poster that early is also maybe a little bit irresponsible. If you don't want things like sending it that early.
Yeah. Well, I think it's one of these ones that there's a few things that have kind of got through the cracks because of the shipping problems and making sure things are in places. And there's a few things that have kind of got through the cracks that they're being leaked and stuff, and I think this was one of them. But I don't think it was
Lego
intentionally leaked. Lego are awful. They are awful at giving stuff away.
It actually annoys me with Lego. With the
I know. And why have they not had their like it's not even leaked, is it? They're allowed to put their product out on this particular day, and they're covering stuff. But there are some massive red herrings. So like in the Spider-Man No Way Home, for example, the Lego sets came out, and there was that whole Sanctum Sanctorum set with like some kind of monster in it, and it was nothing to do with the film at all, apart from the couple of the figures that are in it.
I wonder if they're like deleted scenes, maybe.
Yeah, possibly. Well, the DVD's out now, isn't it? So we shall see.
Zuvio from Force Awakens. They went hard on Constable Zuvio in Force Awakens. 6-inch figure, Black Series. You know, the first line wasn't got all his stuff got cut. But they put him in Mandalorian, though, I think.
They put him in They put him in somewhere, didn't they?
Yeah, just for like going, come on, it justifies the figure now.
But I think it's really interesting that Marvel have kind of gone down this route of we're not going to give you much, and I really like it. I'm not going to lie.
It's like being a kid.
Really like
when
it.
You could only see. Do you remember this thing about trailers now? Like you can stop and pause and rewatch it. But do you remember actually you used to have to get really excited when it came on TV, or you only got to see it at the cinema. And you have to try and remember all the details about it to tell your friends on the playground the next time you saw them. Like, I've seen the trailer. I remember seeing a trailer, right? A teaser trailer.
Yeah, right. Listen, we have told you about not going to playgrounds until it's to children.
When I was a kid, oh my God.
Hey, kids!
Edit. Cancel the show. Stop it. Don't let us go.
Hey, all the kids. That guy's back in the playground talking about the new films coming out. Oh God,
oh God, I can't believe it. Can we edit this out? I'm never going to be on this Geek. I'm never going to work on YouTube again. And from YouTube for life.
Clarification: Ryan does not go to playgrounds and talk to children about trailers. But I am 100% with you that we would.
The iRobot trailer, the teaser one, right? I actually, because I was that young, the way they did it as an advert for actual robots coming soon.
Yes.
So I was really convinced that when I was a kid, I was like, oh my God, like. I remember sitting next to my best man, Josh Leonard, at the time. We were sitting there watching something in the cinema and had that teaser trailer. It was like 2 years before the film as well. Being like, oh my God, they're actually making robots now.
Yeah.
And it turned out to be iRobot, which I love that film. And no one talks about it anymore. Great film. But,
no, it's a good film. Shall I tell you one trailer that comes straight to mind when you talk about that? Apart from Cloverfield, because you remember when Cloverfield came out, and that was kind of in the early days of internet sites and stuff like that, but it was really difficult to find out what the monster was. And I didn't see any leaked pictures of what the monster was. There were so many theories and, if you look at the water in this, and if you look at this, and And there were so many kind of theories and
zooming
stuff.
into backgrounds.
Yeah, but you genuinely couldn't find anything. But the one trailer that really comes to mind when you talk about seeing them in the cinema was the Godzilla trailer for that original Godzilla film. And it was a really simple, it wasn't a short trailer, it was quite a long trailer, and it was around the same time that Jurassic Park was a big hype. And it's essentially a school trip in the Natural History Museum. Do you remember this?
Yes.
And they're walking
exactly
around,
which one you mean.
and and it lasts for quite a while, and they get to the T-Rex, and you genuinely think that it's another Jurassic Park trailer, the way that it's kind of put together. And there's this T-Rex skeleton, and it's the biggest, and then just out of nowhere, this massive foot comes through and crushes the thing, and then goes off. And that was it. And that was all you really. And then you hear the roar. And we were all like, "What?"
So hyped.
But the film wasn't that great. Let's be honest. It was at the time it was okay, but it wasn't something that was going to stand the test of time.
Oh, when I was like 8 or 9, it was amazing. When I've watched it as an adult, and especially since I got into sort of more old school Godzilla films, like the original ones. Like then I've seen that it's not as good. But
the hype of a trailer for young people,
it did the job though.
Yeah, hands down. And I think if that film came out now, it would bomb at the box office because people would know too much about it. Whereas knowing very little about it and going into it, just being hyped that it was a Godzilla film, and that's why I think No Way Home. That's one of the reasons why I think No Way Home did so well on those early doors, because everybody wanted to know. It wasn't even a case of wanting to be the first. Everyone wanted to know what it was about. And yeah, I kind of hope the Marvel movies do kind of go down that route where they give us less and less.
Less is more. The other thing is that the old films used to do teaser trailers that weren't anything to do with the footage in the film. Like you said about the Godzilla one, stuff like that. A lot of the time it never used to be about that. It was about, like you said, it was a proper teaser trailer. One of my big gripes when I go to someone, sometimes I watch a trailer and it's like 4 or 5 minutes long. I'm like, I feel like I've seen too much.
Oh, I know.
Like I saw Uncharted the other day, and I really enjoyed Uncharted. I thought it was really good fun. Good fun. Reminded me of sort of Romance in the Stone, old school Indiana Jonesy type of adventure.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, it was just great fun, and so I really enjoyed it. But I was a little bit annoyed because I've seen so much in the trailer that some of the bits that I should have been like, oh wow, I'd already seen those in the trailer, and they didn't need to be in the trailer. I was already hooked on it, and they took some of the big set pieces and put them in the trailer. And it's just like, don't put all your big set pieces in the trailer, because the big set pieces there were no other big set pieces in it. So
yeah,
I lost that kind of a bit where I was going to go, they're not going to do that, are they? Whoa, there were still some good bits I wasn't expecting, but it just, because everyone's obsessed with making releasing 4 or 5 trailers as well, like different trailers.
I know. Well, that's the good thing about Thor: Love and Thunder, is that the time window gives us, at a push, we could get a teaser trailer and a full trailer. Anything more is just going to be overkill between the time that the film comes out. But yeah, I kind of hope they go down that route of kind of giving us less is more, because it's, toy wise as well. I mean, it is a kind of, rock and a hard place, if you like, because naturally the toy companies don't have a huge amount to work off before a film comes out. And Marvel Legends are a prime example of this, where we got sort of versions of Thanos and various different characters from the films, and they've kind of worked off concept art, given us that figure ahead of the film. The films then come out and we've kind of gone, what is this? And when did he have that hairstyle? When did he have that outfit? Whereas things like No Way Home, they didn't give us any figures for that, apart from the very selective kind of Doctor Strange, the 2 standard suits that Spider-Man wears, and J. Jonah Jameson. And they gave us those because you see all those in the trailer. Everything else we know is going to be accurate, because it's going to be based off of what we've seen in the cinema, because that's what the toy companies are seeing. And so, so it is kind of yes, we wait longer for the figures of the films that we're into. But Hawkeye is another prime example of that. We're not getting the Hawkeye figures until first quarter 2023. So it's the beginning of next year we're going to get those in hand, but they've gone up for pre-order now. So I'd rather wait
for a bit more I agree.
Yeah, I'd much rather wait and get something, because the thing that annoys me as well about collecting is that I'll have, like, the Children of Thanos, for example, is a prime example. I collected those through, they were single release. I'm trying to think. There was 2 that were single release. There was one that was a builder figure, and there was one that came in a 2-pack. So it's quite pricey to kind of collect all of them up. And then obviously you need Thanos as well, which was a builder figure in his armor. And yes, they all came with different figures and stuff like that. So if you're collecting as a whole, it wasn't a huge issue. But when you add up how much would have been spent to just have the Children of Thanos, and they were all inaccurate. By the time the film came out, they were all inaccurate. Now, it didn't bother me a huge amount as a collector. I was like, you know what? I know who they are. They're on my shelf. I'm happy. But then they released a 5-pack with all the accurate costumes and figures, which was great, but it was kind of a kick in the teeth a little bit, because you were like, okay, this is £110. I think the only exception was that the Thanos wasn't an armored Thanos, but he then did come in a 2-pack later on anyway, but I won't say any more about that. But they kind of released them all, and it was kind of like, you know what, I've this money that was spent on getting these, I'm not going to recoup that, because I can't sell those figures on now that you've announced these up-to-date figures. And it's a real gamble. You know, if I'd sold them before they'd announced them, then okay, I probably would have made my money back. But then as soon as they've announced these updated ones, that's the one that people want, and they're readily available. So it's kind of like, I'd much rather wait, pay my money for an authentic figure that's going to go in my collection and stay in my collection, because I don't buy to resell, as opposed to buy them and then be left with something that I'm going to not even be able to resell. I think the only time I've taken a gamble is with the Rhino figure for Spider-Man. I had my builder figure Rhino. He wasn't completely accurate. He didn't look how I wanted my comic book accurate Rhino to look, but he went for a high price, and I was like, I'm going to take a gamble, because they're going to do Rhino at some point, and I'll quite happily wait a year, 2 years to get Rhino. So I sold my builder figure. 6 7 months later, they announced that they're doing a retro carded Rhino. I was like, yes. It's just, yes, I predicted it. Yes, I got in.
Sometimes it pays to be patient.
Yeah, but no, I completely agree. I'd quite happily wait for the merchandise to match the film, as opposed to just get it out there. Went on a rant there. Sorry.
Yeah, no, valid rant. You know, they just had, you know, when you're in left field, because I was looking up for a Power Ranger helmet just off camera. It just reminded me about something that was announced. Was Power Ranger wise toys. They had the 2-pack, which obviously was from the episode. But they also had the Lord Draken helmet announced.
Yes.
I mean, I saw that. I didn't hesitate on that one, because because the White Ranger helmet is impossible to get now after all that problems with the Zavi backorder thing. I mean, Hasbro said they were sending them some, and then they didn't, so they got cancelled. But I still can't get hold of the White Ranger helmet.
It's a really cool helmet as well. I tried that one on at MCM. It's one helmet that I was gutted I didn't get.
I mean, because the red one is just fantastic. I got the pink one over there. I haven't got the Lord Z one yet, but I will get that at some point. It's funny because the pink Ranger one is still quite easy to get hold of, and so the red Ranger one is still fairly easy to get hold of. Lord Z's very easy to get hold of because it's brand new, obviously. But at the Morpher though, the Lightning Collection Morpher, I managed to get that in a trade deal, but that's impossible to get. Again, you can get they re-released it with the pink Ranger set up now.
Yes, I saw that
still, but. Yeah, it's interesting the things that sort of sell out. It's weird the volumes they do things in. But
there's no predicting either as well. When you like, you've only got to look at, I don't know how kind of connected you are with the 6-inch Marvel figures, but there was the retro. No, but there was a retro wave that came out recently, and they had the Spider-Man, the symbiote Spider-Man that was on the new build, the new Spider-Man buck, and the original, the classic costume was in wave 1 of the retro Spider-Man, and it's sold out, and it goes for stupid money now. It goes for about £100 on the second-hand market if it's still boxed, because people can't get it for love nor money. And in wave 2, everyone guessed that the symbiote Spider-Man was going to be the same, so everybody went out, well, not everybody because I didn't, but a lot of people went out and bought 3 or 4 of them, thinking they were like, well, that's 400 quid, thank you very much. And no one can sell them for more than retail, because everyone's got them, and they're still readily available at other retailers. So it's like the production side of it went, this is going to be the popular one, so we're going to make 5 for every one of the others, and people have kind of bought into it. And power to the groups, because in the community groups and that, like, people are posting, oh, Symbiote Spider-Man last one, like £60 posted, and then someone's going, or it's available at this retailer for retail price and this retailer for retail price. So yeah, it's
even with the
funny,
Razor
but
Crest, people are still trying to shift those. People bought like 3 or 4 and trying to
I
sell
know.
them for like way more than what they paid, like double the money. And it's like,
I think
like the people who are selling them are the ones who are adding only like 50 quid on top,
yeah. I think what's interesting,
absolute tops, but
speaking of
people are trying to
HasLab,
double it.
no, HasLab, like, everyone thought the Sentinel was going to really rocket in price, like that it was going to triple in price, and people were going to be selling this thing for £1,000. And it's really hard to sell. Like, I've not seen anybody sell it for much higher than retail. Like, I've seen them up for sale, but I've not seen anyone actually go, oh yeah, I'll pay £600-700 or $700 for that. People are buying the ones that are closer to retail. And I think what's interesting is that the Galactus, I think a lot of people bought double, thinking it was going to be the new Sentinel, before even seeing how the aftermarket worked for the Sentinel. So I think we're going to see a lot of Galactuses for retail or less than retail.
Do you reckon you'll pick one up maybe then?
Possibly. I missed it. I missed the window. There were, other things going on. I actually missed the window, and I'm absolutely devastated that I didn't back the project, because I'm a big fan of Hasbro and whatnot, and I really genuinely am gutted that I didn't back the project. But at the same token, looking at the way this is going, I think I'm going to end up with one for less than retail anyway. So it's all right. You keep a faceplate or something like that. Just send me the figure and I'll pay you a couple of £100 less. But I think that is the thing. I think people have got a lot in, more than one on order, and they're going to find themselves stuck to shift them, because if the Sentinel's not selling for more than retail, I don't think Galactus will. But I've not seen any of the HasLab projects sell for more than retail, to be fair.
I have.
Which one?
Sail Barge.
Oh, okay. Sail Barge and Cookie Monster aside, let's be honest, those OGs. But no, but Sail Barge, I think, is the one exception to the rule, because
the thing is, that was right at the beginning, and also, because people in the UK just couldn't get them. It was handled so poorly. I'm really annoyed about that, because I couldn't get one.
But that's, you just said there exactly what it is it's the fact that it wasn't open to the bigger markets. So because that, it's the same as
they opened up like a half an hour window or something stupid before it ended on eBay, and it's like, what? No.
But there are so many figures across all the different lines that if they're exclusive to a particular place, there's kind of different eras of collecting, and there was a kind of a time between the early 2010 kind of thing through to about 2017, where stuff like Walmart exclusives and Toys R Us exclusive, Walgreens exclusive, were exclusive to those places, whereas the retailers over here now can get hold of those. And I've got store exclusives that I've had since the day that they were released, that I now see my American friends and my American collectors posting about now, because they've managed to get one, or the pre-orders come in and stuff. So there's certain things that, because they weren't open to the wider market, are now worth a higher price. Like, there's a Toys R Us wave, a Jubilee wave. It had 5 figures in it and a builder figure, and they go for stupid money, like £80-90 each, because they weren't available over here.
Speaking of pre-orders, though, my retro collection pre-order came in.
Oh man, mine's going tomorrow.
It's in the other room, but I did get it. I promise I could send pictures and prove it. But but I did get. I will open. But also, I got, pre-order wise, I actually got my first couple of the Star Wars retro Mandalorian wave. So I pre-ordered some extra troopers separate from the whole wave, because the whole wave hasn't been received anywhere. It's Mandalorian retro wave 2. But I ordered myself some extra Death Troopers, and they actually arrived.
Nice.
Earlier than I thought, and I mean, amazing. It looks like it is Kenner. But I had that arrive, and then Stan Solo made an Oolah figure, as you saw in my video, which has arrived again. The funny thing is, this is something made technically by a fan, and this is something made by,
it's crazy,
and they work perfectly together. But that's what I love about it. But that. But then I did see, speaking of retro collection, on the retro Marvel chats, and everything, that's code for chats.
Yeah, no, I got it.
It's visual aid, and in case the subtitles don't do it. Steve Evans replied to someone's comment, who was who wasn't apparently satisfied the fact that we just had this wave revealed and he's getting it in no time, was like, when's series 7 coming out?
There's always that person.
But Steve Evans did reply and said that he'd seen the prototypes for Wave 7.
Oh, cool.
So we don't know what they are, obviously, but quite cool that Wave 7 is very much in that phase. It's in prototype phase.
But they're there, yeah.
So
you can see this is my dedicated shelf up here.
I very much enjoyed your speed round video on Instagram.
Oh, you like it?
I liked that a lot.
It was good, right?
I got Loki, cool. By the way. I got Loki.
Did you?
When I did these
I've tried to pause it and get every single one. But yeah, no, I enjoyed that. I'm going to do another couple.
17 hours I tried to get every single.
You know what? The funny thing is, it actually took me like 15 minutes to put that video together. And someone was like, "Oh, that must have taken you hours." It was like, no, I essentially just took like a second video of each figure and then just put them all together. It's not hard. But with that said, I my what's it? I've just pulled up a screwdriver there. Here's a screwdriver. But no, it's just on my desk in front of me, and I picked it up to make a point. Let's just get random objects. My retro season, what is it? 5, 6?
6.
5. No, 5. No, the ones that come with Falcon. That's 5, isn't it?
6. No,
is that
5.
6? That's 5. 6 is the one with Thor. That wasn't 7.
Yeah. 5,
that wasn't
5.
7. So,
oh my god, I've lost track.
I know,
so much quickly.
But it's technically 6 because we had that Wave 0. But Series 5 that has Venom and Falcon and everything like that, that's coming to me tomorrow. And I have to give a huge shout out to my friend RDJ Custom Creations, because sent me a message and was like, "Dude, need any of these?" And there was a beautiful Black Panther just sat there on the shelf. So he's sending me that over as well. So I'm now only one figure away from having the entire.
What's the one figure? Grey Hulk?
Grey Hulk, yeah. So, and it's not because I haven't seen it, because I've literally had it in my hand in the shop.
Do you have shop local. The different eyebrows for Storm?
No, because I'm not worried about variants. I'm not gonna go down. I'm not gonna.
There's only one variant actually made. You know you're gonna get it at some point.
No, there isn't. No.
That's the only variant.
I don't know. It is. Yeah, it is the only variant.
To be fair, I actually probably will get that at some point.
I think the Black Panthers vary though, don't they? Because there's 3 versions. There's the wave one, and then there's the 2 different. There's like the black metallic one with Iron Man, and then the Captain America 2-pack as well. And I'm sure that
I think the figures are the same. It's just the cards.
Are they really?
Almost
okay.
Certain. Yeah, I think and I think the Storm, to be fair, was just it was more because of a production change. I think more than anything.
Oh yeah,
but it's still quite a cool little variant. So I like to think of it as essentially like one is when she's using her powers and the other one isn't.
When she isn't. Yeah, I think the funny thing is, if it was a character if it was like the Spider-Man or something like that was kind of more of a. I love Storm to pieces, but the fact that it's Storm and it's an eyebrow. If it was Spider-Man and it was like a design, or I don't know, if it was something a bit more significant, as opposed to just a production change that, we're going to say it's an official variant like that. Yeah. So I don't know. But I love them. I absolutely love them. I've got them up on my shelf up here. This is my dedicated retro shelf. And it's the first and only time that I've displayed inbox figures on my display. So I've got the 3 2-packs behind the figures on the stand. And I was talking to Steve and I was like, there is... Yeah, there we go. I haven't
been able to open these ones.
I've opened them. I'm not going to lie. I cut the tape and had a look at the figures, but I put them back in.
Oh, well, I've not uncarded.
Not taking them out. But I was talking to Steve and I was like, there is plenty of room here for future releases. So knock yourself out. But yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it. I think it's a great line. And some people are just, they don't get it. They don't get it, and I don't care. If you don't get it, I don't really give 2 shit. No, if you don't get it, right? Somebody commented on one of my videos about them, and he was like, "Oh, do people actually buy these?" And I was like, "Do you actually waste your time commenting on something that you don't get?" Like, yes, they do. Here is a video of me with them out of the packaging. So yes, people do buy them. Some of them get sent over by people from Hasbro. Like, Steve started me off. He sent me those first 3. And
Speaking
if that wasn't a reason to start,
a Falcon from Steve.
Yeah, I know, right?
I won his little competition on there. He did a little competition on one of the Facebook groups. I was like, I came second, but the other guy was like, turned out he lived in Australia, and it would have been like something like stupid, like $1 billion just to send a figure. And he was like, the guy who won was like, I graciously concede this to Ryan. So I put that on the
way. I can't have you pay more than what the wave would be to send over one unboxed figure. However, Steve did get me into the line because of sending me those 3 over, but they are now the only 3 that I don't have packaging for. So I'm a little bit like, oh man.
Yeah, because I have been really carefully cutting the cards because I really like the. What are the 3?
Yeah, me too. Hulk, Silver Surfer, and Stealth Iron Man. They were the 3 that he sent me over to start me off. But cut out there. But yeah, I'm not worried. I'm not worried. I've kept the boxes for him just because I did the artwork on the boxes. I can't justify getting rid of it. And they're small enough that I can package them all up and then in a small box and out of the way. So
no, it's like this. I did the good careful craft knife opening of the retro card as
very
well.
Nice.
I
very
just
nice.
Thought that was, I got 2, and I did Steve Evans rip the other one.
Did you?
Yeah, I mean, this is what's.
Wow!
Yeah. So the video is dropping this week about my experience on doing that. Literally, I did a whole thing. So if you're listening to this sneak preview, did a whole thing. I was like, I realized I had a lot of helmets laying around, so I was just like, I'm just gonna do a video of me trying to do a Steve Evans rip and in a conflict, and just played about 5 different Star Wars characters because I can.
Happy days.
Why else am I going to use the helmets for other than to do that exact thing?
Happy days. Speaking of Marvel characters, though, before we do kind of bring the episode to the end, I don't want us to get to the end and forget about this. There was one reveal, and that was the first in the Spider-Man 60th anniversary wave. They announced the Silk and Dr. Octopus 2-pack. And what is really interesting is that all we've seen so far is digital renders, and they are both very similar to the characters that the versions of the characters that we had before. Dr. Octopus, there's a slight change in his facial expression, and if re-releases are anything to learn by, the guys at Marvel have already said that they would never just re-release a figure. There'll always be something slightly different. So we will see something different in it. I'm kind of hoping that the arms are bendy or something like that. But the Silk figure, my initial thought of it, 'cause it was the white and black suit, I was really annoyed because the version of that Silk that we got was the fan vote. So they did a fan vote between 3 characters, and Silk won by a landslide. The other one was, I think the other one was Lady. I think it might have been Lady Sif, and I can't remember what the other one was. Lady Sif and someone else. But there was 3. Yeah, but I wanted Silk, even though I had the previous version. I was like, I prefer that version Silk. But if I'd known they were going to do this one, I would have voted for a different one. But rightfully so, somebody pointed out that the body that they're using for this new Silk is the Shriek body. So it's the new female body mold with the double jointed elbows and pinless and all that kind of stuff. So it will be a nicer figure. So, and that's gone up for pre-order on Amazon now. It's the 2-pack's around £55, I think. But it doesn't come out till October. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to wait. I'm not pre-ordering that. I will wait. And if I can pick one up at the time, then it was meant to be. That's the way I look at it.
I've got to ask, is that the Eye of Agamotto behind you?
I knew you were going to ask that. What is
it? Wait a minute. No, it's still here. How have you got my stone?
Are we doing props? Yes, I got this sent over to me to have a look at. I'm not going to give too much away because I've done a video for it on the behalf of somebody else, but you will see it soon on my channel. But yes, it was sent over to me this week. It actually came yesterday. I was really surprised, which was really cool. But it's a really cool prop, which means that I've now got the Tesseract and the Time Stone. Look at that bad boy.
But you're not complete yet.
I don't have a glove, so I'll just kind of hold them. But it is cool to have kind of two Infinity Stones. But this is a really cool prop because even the stone comes out and stays lit up, which is really cool. Does your stone come out and stay lit up? Come on, let's be honest. No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. Big thumbs
no,
down from the Thanos hand.
It's a
I
really,
took the batteries
really
out
cool.
of this because the noise is. The minute you touch one of these things, the noise is. It just doesn't stop talking. So.
I know, I bet. But I can put it on. I can wear it. I can't do the fancy.
You see Jake out in public and he's not wearing
Doctor
now
Strange
the
things.
Agamotto, then you know to question him.
Look at that though. That's
That's
really
pretty
cool.
cool.
It's noisy. You can hear it though, right? It's quite noisy.
Yeah.
But it's really cool. I was
really liked that sub line of the Marvel Legends. That's my preferred line because I've got the Ant-Man helmet. I know you've got like the War Machine helmet and the Iron Man one, haven't you?
No, I've only got the War Machine one. War Machine's the only helmet I've got. Funny enough, it was the first helmet I got.
The Captain America shield, like the first one they did.
Yeah,
he's got that. That is pretty awesome. I
really want a shield, and I want I want them all. I want Mjolnir now. I want. But the only helmet I got was War Machine, just because I love War Machine, and so when I was like, you know what, I'm going to go into it. Turns out to be the one that's discounted, and you can get for like 30 quid. No, it's not even that cheap, but you can get it quite easily now. I was like, I should have got Iron Man. Trying to turn my Tesseract off here.
That is not a sentence I thought I'd hear today.
There you go.
I gotta turn my Tesseract off.
The funniest thing was though is that this turned up. I showed my son, and he was like, "Oh, that's the Eye of Agamotto. Like it's the time stone, blah blah blah." And then when I got this out, and he was like, "When did you get a Tesseract?" I was like, "I've had this since like 2016 or whatever." I can't remember what year it was.
I remember talking to you about it because I was like. Because I wasn't bothered about the figures, and at the time you weren't massively bothered about the prop. And I think at one point we were sort of talking. I might have bought it off you. I was like sort of tempted about it. I was like, nah, I'm sure they'll re-release on its own, which they haven't. And now you like the prop, so
I absolutely love it.
Struck while the iron was hot.
Such a good prop. It really is such a good prop. But yeah, my son was like blown away. He was like, "When did you get a Tesseract?" I was like, "Son, there are many things you don't know about." I've had the Tesseract for a while, but yes, there is video coming out soon on this little bad boy here. So we're gonna leave it on in the background. Yeah, so there will be a video on that.
Sort my Marvel background out. You know, I said I needed.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. I've obviously got my Disney background and I've got my Star Wars backgrounds, various. This one's a tablecloth, the other one's a rug, and the other one's a box. So in true fashion, I've got one that is Marvel is bed sheets.
Oh, that's awesome.
But it's going to be all like that. So I'm pretty happy.
That's really cool. I really like that.
So that's going to be my Marvel backdrop. Sounds stupid, like the best things to get. A charity shop, next to nothing.
Yeah. I really like that.
That's Ryan's weird purchase of the week.
Weird little tip there. Just buy a bed sheet, instant backdrop.
Tablecloth, rugs, boxes. Don't ever buy an actual backdrop.
No. That's really good. That is a really good shout. But I do think that's everything this week. I don't think there's a huge amount more. So it's not going to be a lengthy
Star Wars
show.
Figures, but I can't remember what they are, which I feel really bad about. But I'm thinking as well, I know Ash absolutely loves talking about when the Black Series reveals. So maybe we'll save that for when he gets back.
Yeah, I mean the guy he's gonna have a couple of weeks worth of kind of geeking out to get through. So I'm looking forward to obviously him coming back next week. Although it has been fun for 2 weeks, just being us two, just kind of chewing the fat and talking.
School, like,
it has been for us. It's been very old school.
The people listening and watching, me and Jack have literally been talking like this for about 15 years now. So, it's just funny now. It's recorded.
It's out there. It's out in the world. But yeah, it is going to be a lot of fun to welcome Sorrell back. So he flies back over the next couple of days. And then, he's going to be back. But yeah, I don't think there's a huge amount more going on.
Just me going to be rubbing my Mersey caravan holiday, in Sorrell's face when he comes back from his boring Disney trip.
I'm going to Croatia later this year as well, just to rub that in.
Again, it's not Mersey Island though, is it?
No, it's not. It is not Mersey Island. So I'm,
it's not an in-betweeners camping trip, is it?
Cool. Right, let's round out there. Let's call it a week. And I know that I'm going to think of something as it comes back, as we sign off. It looks like a weird Pokemon Triceratops kind of thing, like as opposed to Sonic. yeah, so I mean, if you are watching, obviously, thank you very much for sticking with us this week. It's been a weird one, but there's been a lot.
Neither of us feel great, as you can probably hear in our voices.
No, we are both feeling
ropey.
well under the weather. Well under the weather. I'm hoping to get my my normal voice back next week. But if you are watching them, please do like, share, subscribe, all those things. All support is very much appreciated. And to you podcast listeners out there, thank you very much. And do continue to share, download, like, all of those things. Check the description of the video and see Ryan Speaks Geek's details. And of course, our absent friend SuperSorrell's details. Over on Instagram and Facebook, give the Geek Week in Review a like and a share and a follow. And I think that's about everything this week, which leaves us to say one thing. Let's see what we say in tandem this week. Ready?
Right, got it. Right.
So, till next week, keep it geek.
Keep it geek.
Hey! You were well out of time. No, you were well out of time.
Oh,
no, you wasn't. Try again.
You're out of order.
Again,
this court's out of order.
We'll try one more time. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Keep it geek.
Keep it geek.
No, it didn't work.
Can we get cue cards for next week, maybe?
The Geek Week in Review.